I've been doing sit-ups. I've been doing chin-ups. I've been doing pull-ups. I threw up once, but I'm okay now.
Welcome to a Friday edition TGIF of your sports network's very own Power Hour, presented by Toyota of Warren. DJ Yoakley with you here in Stream City, USA, in my basement, in the man cave, whatever you want to call it. It's an evolving process here in the basement because I'm trying to get different looks. Some people don't want to see stuff. Everybody wants to see the John Cena autograph picture. You got Clint Hurdle up there, Goldberg, and all kinds of stuff all over this place. And every time that people watch, they seem to like something different. So trying to keep it light around here because there's a lot of obviously serious stuff going on. And a lot of that stuff not necessarily dealing directly with the East Palestine train derailment, but we will talk about how it's affecting sports now, and seeing some cancellations here as of today, as of yesterday, and it's a little concerning. And you know what's crazy about this for me, you're going to get a lot of different reports, right? I just watched one, the 330 Sports and More, I think, with Justin Coffin. They covered this a little bit yesterday, with just like kind of an overview, right? Of here's what we would do in this situation. Here's what should be done. And I guess, and I'm not taking anything away from Justin in what he does, because he does a great job. He does a really good job of, just kind of giving his opinion. And sometimes that's all you need. But being in the middle of this, like literally in the middle of this, as a entrepreneur whose business was evacuated, haven't gotten back into my business yet, except for a few times, and having my home evacuated, we're back in the house, obviously, but there's a lot of questions. There's a lot of questions around this, and essentially what I'm going to do is try to clear up the sports side of this because of what's going on. And there's going to be some hot takes, but I'm going to pose them in forms of questions because that's what they are. There's a ton of different reasons that these teams might not be playing, but I'm going to give you all the facts that I can. And I'm going to follow that and support those facts with not conspiracy theories, but questions around why they happen. So that's how I'm going to pose everything on today's show. So let's set you up and tell you kind of how all of this went down. First off, the how do I say it? The media that has been covering this has completely swept this under the rug. Everybody supports East Palestine, but they want to do it from afar. Right? We love you, East Palestine. We want to be with you. We're here for you, but make sure you stay over there in the corner of the room and you don't smell up everybody else's roses here. I get it. Right? I understand it. I'm 100% behind it. But our superintendent of schools, Chris Neifer, has done an extraordinary job of leading, as well as Dwayne Pavkovich, the athletic director, assistant principal. They've done an incredible job of leading. And what Chris will always tell you is his team is leading by example. And that's what makes his job so effective as being the superintendent. When this story started to materialize, I was in the vicinity. I'm just going to put it that way. There's a lot around this. There's a lot of, yes, we understand. Safety is first priority. It always will be. There's nobody that understands that more right now in this moment than people of East Palestine, because they have to make a decision, and they're being forced into that decision. They're being forced into, do we want to send our kids to school? Do we want to move from our homes? Do we want to play sports right now, knowing that the water is safe? There's a lot of decisions that have to go on, and those are mandatory decisions for us. They're not mandatory for anybody else. So I get Bristol. I understand you. I get it. But if it's good enough for our kids, if it's good enough to have a middle school or 2 games, I believe, and they come in, if it's good enough for tonight, for the unbelievable supported town of Wellsville to send their kids here to play a game, why isn't it okay for Bristol? And again, parents, you can tell me GFY, right? There's no chance our kids are ever going to go there. But I'm going to put a little bit of food for thought for everybody. So this game that was to be played last night, East Palestine versus Bristol, girls basketball, was originally scheduled for Wednesday. But due to I think it was something academic or something along the lines of they wouldn't have enough girls to compete on Wednesday because there was something going on academically at the school, which East Palestine said, you know what? We're cool with that. Academics comes first, student, athlete, right? We'll play on Thursday. We'll get it taken care of. This was before the train derailment, by the way. This was before all of this happened. And then February 3rd happens, right? The train derailment. We understand the quality of air is a concern. The water is a concern. People's health priorities, number one. But if you have the EPA in the building, if you have everybody there saying, hey, we're good with it, you guys are good. You're good to bring your kids back to school. And I promise you, and this is me promising, this is nobody else. I promise you that if Chris Neiffer, the Chris Neiffer that I know, superintendent extraordinaire, even better person than he is, and a better man than he is a superintendent, and I think of him pretty high on the superintendent scale, if there was even a question of what anybody would be hurt or a possibility of any safety issues in East Palestine, Chris would not let school go back in session. What I've learned here and what we have to trust is when you are talking to people that are experts in their field, in this case, the EPA, in this case, Norfolk Southern, in this case, you can only get the information that they're going to give you. Chris's job is to protect and have safety as the first and primary source of what his job is. And then the secondaries of it, make sure that, they're educated. Make sure that their teachers are doing their job. Make sure that the people of East Palestine understand that there's a great school system right here. But it's hard to do that when the goalposts are shifting. To my understanding, there was a meeting with the OHSAA. There was a couple other meetings to where people wanted to know, hey, we need to know. And there's lawyers involved in this. We want to know if this is safe for our people, for our fans, for our parents, for our kids, for whatever, for everybody. Those meetings were lined up. The answers that they needed were given, and it still wasn't good enough for Bristol, which, again, that is your prerogative. You are entitled to your opinion. If you think your children are in danger, if you think you are in danger, you don't have to come. But do not point the finger at East Palestine and say, you should have moved this game. That's what I'm kind of getting a little bit fed up with. Why is it, if East Palestine checks all of the boxes, right? All of them, every single one of them, with federal EPA, with everybody that needs to be involved at the highest level, why does East Palestine, who earned that home game throughout the season, why should they have to pack up their stuff and head to another school where they lose, number one, their home court advantage? And I get it. Things are bigger than basketball. Things are bigger than sports. I get it. But in this case, what are we doing here? If they say it's okay, East Palestine's going to lose whatever gate they would get. And because it's OHSAA, I don't know that they get any gate in the first place. They're going to lose their concession. People will, janitors and maintenance staff, they're going to not get paid for that. So while I completely understand, listen, I get it, both sides of the mouth, I'm talking out of it, but I'm right now, I'm here. Everybody else is here, and I'm here. I understand why Bristol doesn't necessarily want to come to East Palestine during this time. But I don't know if there's any answers or anybody that could give them an answer that would have made it any more clear or feel any more safe than they should feel. I don't know if there's an answer there that Chris Neiffer, the legal team, the EPA, whoever could have proposed or shown that they would have been like, you know what? We're in. We'll be there. 7:00 on Thursday. I have questions about if they would even had enough girls to play in the first place. And that's not here or there. But if you don't have enough players to play, don't blame it on the safety and cause what is already a mass circus in the quiet city of East Palestine, what used to be a quiet city, quiet town. We're 4,700, not 5,000, so we're not a city. Don't point the finger at them and say, hey, this is your fault. You need to move. You need to go. Like, you set up somewhere else, set up here, set up there. That's listen, I get it. I understand it. If you want to play, you're going to play. But haven't these young ladies, these young men been challenged enough already? Why should they make the sacrifice if everything is lined up the way it was supposed to be? That's my challenge. I don't understand that. I'm not reading in the same book that other people are saying, well, just pick it up and put it in Latonia, put it in, go play in the Beagley Center. The Beagley Center, okay, because there's nothing big going on in the Beagley Center on a Thursday night. A sellout crowd for YSU. Like, the logistics aren't that easy to get officials to, and quite honestly, why should East Palestine? If we're going to do that, take every single game that you're going to play in the OHSA playoffs and make it a neutral game for everyone. Every single game. And I know the circumstances are a little bit different because East Palestine is going through this, but now it's starting to affect other schools. Other schools that have not been touched. There are other schools that there's no reason for this. And we're going to get into that in a couple minutes because I've got some really crazy questions about that one. Like, really crazy questions. We're taking heat right now because Crestview just posted that they're sectional champs because Beechwood decided that too close for comfort. Crestview is too close to East Palestine. What? Huh? Is anybody else starting to get a little bit of that COVID taste in their mouth? Is anybody else starting to figure out, like, oh, I know what this is? We talked about it months ago. There is no penalty for canceling games. There's not even a penalty for the OHSAA to forfeit games. Why is that? Why is there no penalty? In football, there's a huge difference between canceling a game and forfeiting a game. Forfeit means you lose the game. Canceling, which for some reason is still allowed, you don't lose the game. You don't win the game. You don't lose the game, and your divisor goes down. It's actually beneficial sometimes for you to cancel a game instead of forfeit the game. In many times, almost every time. I know the OHSA can't come in and say, you have to play this game. They can't do that. They can't. But there should be penalties. And people look into that and they go, well, if you're canceling games in the postseason, you're going to be penalized next year. Right? If you forfeit in the postseason this year, you should be penalized in the next year because you just screwed up our entire bracket. Like, you look at that bracket and you go, I want to go here. That's how basketball works. And then other people go their places, and then you're lined up against them. There's, without a shadow of a doubt, Beechwood knew that there was a chance that they could play Crestview. And I know this is not that easy of a decision, probably for them as well. I don't know their leadership, and I think a lot of them, because I think that they know us and they think a lot of us. But I have some questions. Number one being, why today? Why today? Why would you? I mean, what questions would you have for Crestview? And I know Coach Blanche is upset, because if you ask most basketball coaches this time of year, they want to play basketball, because a bye could be the difference between you, number one, getting healthy, I guess, right? That's the pro. But the con is you're not playing basketball, you're not getting the reps. And for a team as hot as Crestview, you want the reps. Because if your team's relatively healthy, and I think they are, I don't have their injury report, as you don't have those in high school. I think Crestview has every right to be absolutely scathing mad. I don't know what scathing is. Scathing. I think East Palestine has a right to be upset. I know people are upset in East Palestine. And somebody might be sitting there saying, well, it's a forfeit. You win anyway. Who cares? No. It's more than just a forfeit. This is, you want to care about the kids? These kids need normalcy too. They want to get back to playing basketball. They want to get back. Yeah, they're in their hallways. And now with you not wanting to come, with schools not wanting to go to these schools, you're creating doubt inside the heads of these kids that are like, wait a minute. Whoa. If they're not coming, what are we doing here? And for the entire East Palestine community, for the school system, they've got to be like, what are we doing? What is going on? These kids, they need to know that things are going to be okay. And while I completely understand where Bristol is coming from, Trust me, we're facing it with local government that are telling us, hey, everything's okay, but we're going to stand over here. Don't drink the water. Like, this is our life right now. This is our life. And trust me, the mainstream media, it's easy to get caught up and say a nuclear bomb goes off in East Palestine, and what are government officials going to do about it? But from our take, from the YSN, from the True Sports take, here's the headline for us. What are we going to do if nobody wants to come here and play? That's troublesome. I'll say it again. It's worrisome. These girls and nobody in East Palestine asked for this. I can promise you that. I promise you that. Everybody asking, oh, how can, and we're great, really grateful for this. How can we help? Thoughts and prayers. How can we help? What do you need? We need normalcy. We need to play a basketball game in our gym. We had the EPA in that gymnasium. We had politicians in that gymnasium. We had our firefighters, leaders, mayor. I was in that gymnasium. 2,000 people, national media were in that gymnasium. And it was good enough for them. How is it not good enough for everybody else? It's my question, and it might be rhetorical. Anthony chiming in and says, I bet there were enough parents that said, my kid isn't going there. And then Beechwood's hands were tied. Totally sucks. Even for Beechwood players that had no problem going to Crestview and wanted to play what would probably be their last game. That is a great point, Anthony. So what does Bristol get out of this? What does Beechwood get out of this? What does Crestview and East Palestine get out of this? A bye. That's it. It didn't help them. It created another story. But that's it. They don't need rest. They need to play. And somebody out there is going to go, well, why don't they play each other? Not how it works. Not how it works right now. This is regular season, yeah. Simple fix, right? But typically, and I'm not an athletic director. I don't play one on TV. During the regular season, you cancel a game, you move it downwind, and you go, okay, we'll play here. Playoffs? Not going to happen. Just not going to happen. Why don't they scrimmage? Well, what if you turn an ankle? What if you it's tough skating for these teams right now. I hope it's the last, but I doubt it. I doubt it. And I just got word that there's a tournament that was supposed to happen this weekend that got moved out because they're fearful for their kids. This is why. This is one of the many reasons that I'm standing up for my hometown. Listen, we're not fooling anybody. We know that we're not going to win every game. We know we have a ginormous hill to climb in the years to come, in the days to come, in the moments to come. Crying out loud, every time I walk outside, I'm terrified of all the things that I've seen online. Acid snow, acid rain, acid, like stuff that, like, why do we have to think about this? Again, I understand life's not fair. It's not our fault. But do you understand? Can you look through our lens for just a moment and understand what we're going through? Can you understand what these kids are going through? Imagine being, let's say the average age is 16, 17 years old in high school, right? Imagine being a 16, 17-year-old in today's day and age, right now, in East Palestine, or in this case, Crestview as well. And a team says, we're not coming because we don't feel it's safe. Can you put your head on your pillow at night, being that 16, 17-year-old, even though your parents, the EPA, every leader has told you that you're safe, you're okay? You have your whole life ahead of you, your entire life. And people are afraid to touch you with a 10-foot pole. They're afraid to play in your freshly cleaned by, professionals gymnasium. The scars are starting to show. And this is only the beginning. I don't blame Bristol, and I certainly don't blame Beechwood. But I think you've raised more questions for our youth and our schools that at this point in time, especially in East Palestine, and I know the officials over in Crestview don't need to be answering. They need to be focused on getting their schools back in order. Because there are still many people, much like those two schools that denied and refused to come. There's a lot of people that have questions. And again, I don't want you to think that I'm saying Bristol's chicken or Beechwood's chicken. Like that's. I think Anthony's right. I think the hands were tied. I really do think that Beechwood's hands were tied because they're up there, right? Bristol, I think, is a Trumbull County school, right? I'm pretty sure it's Trumbull County school, part of the NAC. What's frustrating is it makes you want to do something. It makes you want to, do more than we're already doing. And I know what we're doing isn't much, but it makes you want to do more. But during playoff season, there's not a whole lot you can do. The easy answer for everybody is, we'll just move the games. That's because it's an easy answer to everybody and not the people in charge. Well, they want to play basketball. Let them play basketball. Who cares where they play? Just put a hoop at this end, a hoop at that end. Get some referees, play some ball. No. I got to be honest, I wouldn't either. And when I say I wouldn't move that game after my kids had fought for a year to earn the home court advantage. I wouldn't move it. I wouldn't move it. I might take a poll of my seniors, say, hey, what do you want to do? But at some point, the adults in the room are the ones accountable for it. Teenagers are going to say, yeah, let's go. Yeah, let's go. But there's a little bit more business to this than just playing a game. And I think people need to understand that. It could be a business decision. It could be a situation. OHSA deserves some credit for standing their ground and saying no on the request to move the game. Siggy, 100%. However, there's always a however with the OHSAA, right? They should have stood their ground in the first place instead of continuing to go through the process up through yesterday morning. So let's think about this for a second. Let's put on our thinking caps and we go, if the meeting was at noon, and I have no idea when the meeting was, right? If the meeting's at noon and we're going to talk about this, right? Do we move the game? Now, the game is at 7 o'clock. Both teams now are engaging in travel. One of the suggestions I heard was, well, Bristol's up here, East Palestine's down here. We're going to go right here. So in order to do that, number one, you have to get the approval. And everybody's like, wow, every school will say yes. Would they? Would they, though? Now, we can get into this and talk about, we talked about people not wanting to touch East Palestine with a 10-foot pole right now. And that's how it feels. That's my personal opinion. I'm not talking about the school. I'm not talking, that's how people are right now. They don't want to engage. And that's why I give so much credit to people who do. People who do have their hand out, people that are coming into town, dropping off things, making sure that people are okay, just seeing people eye to eye saying, we see you. So when people don't show up, how are we supposed to take that? If you don't show up for a basketball game, you support us. Sammy Sosa, right? He supports you. But we're going to stay over here. You there, us here. We're not putting up with it. And this isn't a, oh, you're making us sad. No, we're not sad. Trust me, we're pissed. We're upset. We're not happy. Our lives were awesome, right? February 2nd, let's go. February 3rd, uh-oh. February 5th, oh my God. This is it. All right. Pam says, I'm sorry I'm late to the show. No problem, Pam. But when there's been a lot of distrust of government shown among people, COVID, the last election results, etc., people are going to pick and choose what they believe and when to believe it. Well, the EPA is lying. Politicians are lying. Scientists are lying, etc. I hope this makes sense. It does make sense. It does make sense because since I've engaged on what I'm calling the vigilante tour, taking off the YSN hat and just trying to look for answers, taking off the sports and looking for everything else. I have some major questions for local government, state government, federal government, the EPA. So since we're on this, I'll let you know a little secret. The EPA, the Norfolk Southern, and toxicologists came in at different levels of the EPA as well. Came in on Super Bowl Sunday, came into YSN. They wanted to do the scan and air quality samples and all that stuff. A distinct odor. Couldn't tell you what it is, but I know it now every time I smell it here in town. As soon as you walk in, hits you in the face. It's giving me headaches. It's other symptoms. And this isn't a feel bad for me. I'm just explaining why we don't believe what's going on, and why Bristol has a case from their standpoint of East Palestine, but East Palestine also has a case because this is what, and to Pam's point, they're telling you what you want to hear, but for East Palestine, this is what you have to go by. If they came back and said, yeah, it's not safe, okay, all bets are off. Where do we have to go? Chris Neiffer is an amazing, and I cannot say this enough. And we've gone toe to toe. We've been, now I'd say nose to nose, but he's got a significant height advantage on me. We've been toe to toe before, several times. And we always walk away, and that's a guy who's a leader. I can get behind that guy. And he did it again. And on Wednesday, he did it again. And he's sticking up for his kids, and he's sticking up for his coaches, and he's sticking up for his athletic director, and he's sticking up for his community. I'm behind that guy. And if it's not safe, he's moving them out. They're not in school if it's not safe. He's given data by the professionals, some of the highest touted professionals in the world. The EPA, the world, the center of the world right now is the zip code of 44413. This is the center of the world. And there's leaders and there's fearmongers, and they're trying to do the same thing. And that's catch your attention. The leaders, like Chris Neiffer, are doing everything to make sure that they're safe. Dwayne Pavkovich, their kids are safe. The schools, the teachers caravanning around while their kids are all over the place. They just want to see their kids. They want to make sure they know that they are loved. This is a scary time for us, 38 years old. Imagine being 16 years old. Your whole life is ahead of you. Nobody says to the question, what do you want to be when you grow up? Scared. For the next rest of their lives. They're going to have questions about every cough they have, every sneeze, every sniffle, every rash, everything they breathe, and every time they have a heart palpitation, every time they have a nosebleed. These kids are going to have questions about what happened. They're scared. We're scared. You know what doesn't help? Scaring them even more. Again, I can appreciate where they're coming from. I can appreciate you not wanting to. I don't understand the Crestview thing. Don't get it at all. But you're entitled to forfeit a game. But my ask is this. When you forfeit, if you forfeit, don't point the finger at the other team, the other community, and say, it's their fault. We were willing to move the game. To me, that is, I can't even imagine the frustrating feeling. I can't even imagine it. Don't move the goalposts. If you don't want to come here, you ask for all the information, you're given all the information. You lost. I mean, that's it. You lost. To me, Chris, the entire staff had to jump through hoops for something that probably wasn't going to happen in the first place. That's my opinion. And Bristol can tell me to kick rocks and that I'm a terrible person, but I'm willing to bet there's more than one person out there that probably thinks the same thing. I'm just putting the pen to paper, so to speak. I don't understand the Beechwood thing. I don't. I've looked at it every different angle. I can't. I don't understand it. I'm not even sure that, if you ask people in Columbiana, which is where Crestview is, you've got people in Poland that are telling you that they smelled something, but people in Columbiana are saying, we haven't had anything. It just makes me wonder about the roster size. Makes me wonder if, we saw this during COVID again. You know what? We've had a good season. We're not going to end on a loss. Peace be with you. We're out. That's okay, but let people know that's what it is. Because the Crestview girls basketball team was ready. The East Palestine girls basketball team, they're ready. They want to play. Trust me, they want to play. 100%. Ty says, such a difficult situation. Unfortunately, there will always be individuals looking for opportunities from tragedy, and some want their 15 minutes. I feel sorry for these kids who want to think about nothing else but playing basketball right now. Ty Bartell, thank you very much for that. I appreciate it. It's not an easy topic to cover, and I'll be honest with you. That we do fluff stuff around here. We do the happy stuff. We do the happy dance, but we also got to, life gets interrupted sometimes. Here we are. And now sports is being affected. So now it is a YSN story. And it's YSN teams. Now, if this wasn't YSN teams, but it's our job to bring it to you. And I'm trying to bring it to you fair. And I'm trying to see both sides of it. I'm trying to look through both lenses. This is what I'm seeing. And you can call me a homer because I'm an East Palestine boy, proud graduate, proud entrepreneur, proud former village councilman, proud everything. East Palestine runs in these veins. Straight up. Straight up. So you're always going to get straight up from me, which is why I've been toe-to-toe with so many in East Palestine before, is because I believe in it. I can go all day and tell you about Pav and Knifer and all these people that are in that school district and they don't want to settle for average. I can talk about until I'm blue in the face. They just want the best for their kids. You can't blame them for that. I do think it's a little bit sour whenever, if for some reason, and I saw it last night, Bristol, again, pointing that finger, saying, we wanted the game moved. They weren't willing to move it, so we're going to end our season. I mean, I don't want to say it, but do they really want to play? Or is this the way out? Is this the easy way out to say, you know what, we had a great season. We're out of here. Let's look forward to it. The seniors especially, that sucks. That sucks. There's no other way to put it. When you're a senior, obviously it's not always a Disney story. Some of those games you go in and you're like, man, this could be my last time. Every postseason game for a senior. You lace them up. This could be my last time I take the floor. The Bristol seniors, they didn't get that. They didn't get it. And I guess they're okay with that. Or the parents are okay with that. And that's fine. That's their decision. Beechwood's in the same boat. Lacing up those shoes one last time. No, that's it for you. That's ball game. Ty also says, not to mention, if you bend the rules on this, where does it stop? What precedent has been set for the future decisions? That's something I haven't even thought of. Safety comes in all different forms, right? So safety is air you breathe, the way you feel. That's safety. Who says that, you know what? We know this team, Team A, can fill up the bleachers. We don't want to play them. We also know they don't travel very well. So can we we don't feel safe? We don't feel safe for this? Maybe we'll get a meet halfway. I see the point. I'm just talking it out loud. I see the point. It is what it is at this point. Palestine moves on. Crestview moves on. Bristol, Beechwood, their seasons are done. I hate to even bring this up, but I think if this was boys basketball or a football game, there's probably a lot more eyes on this. There's probably a lot more media coverage on this. I still think girls basketball especially gets the short end of the stick a lot. A lot. And I commend, at least that I know, Wellsville's coming to town tonight, that I understand. I should probably do a little look-see-daisy on that. But you look at that and you go, why is it okay for Wellsville to come in? Like, and I know Wellsville. I love Wellsville. And I know why Wellsville's coming. And it's because they believe. They are Bulldog strong, EP strong. And they're saying, hey, we believe in you. And they might come up and they might, Wellsville's a damn good basketball team. They are good. Coach Reynolds knows it. Everybody knows it. They're right in the thick of everything. They're certainly not coming up here to be, roll out the red carpet and take a knee on tonight's game. I can guarantee you that. But they respect our people enough to say, we'll see you at 7. That's that's good stuff. That's good stuff. That's you want to help us, play us at our place. You don't want to drink the water, that's fine. Our governor won't even drink the water. But we'll have some bottled waters for you, waiting. And some oranges, apparently. But you want to help us, play us. That's how we fix this thing. Show up in your shirts that say EP Strong. I'm so proud. Oh, man, am I proud. I'm so proud of these communities. The 7th grade Southern local basketball team. As an EP guy, that's one of the coolest things. I got a message today from a friend that said, we've got a check for you. We'll see you Monday. Not for me. For East Palestine. So many schools around the area that are YSN schools chipped in and said, hey, we're here for you. I'm proud. Incredibly proud to be from my hometown, as many of you are. I'm not here for 5 minutes of fame. I've been here the whole damn time. Proud to be from East Palestine. I'm just a kid from East Palestine, and I'll always be just a kid from East Palestine. And when push comes to shove, I'm going to take my sports broadcaster headset off. And if my town needs me, then I'm going to step up for my town. Because I know damn well that they do the same for me. There's a lot of people here that I love, that I care about, that just want to go back to their normal lives. I'm telling you right now, if you want something, if you want to help us, if you want to help East Palestine, if you want to help East Palestine athletics, the kids, come here. See us. Roll up your sleeves with us. Crack a joke. It's a serious, tense situation right now. And this stuff is the last thing that we needed. I'm proud of Dwayne Pavkovich. I'm proud of Chris Knifer for holding their ground. I'm proud of the OHSAA for holding their ground on this as well. Because we don't compliment them nearly enough because we're going toe-to-toe. I'm not happy that there's no game. But I'm happy that the right people are stepping up and saying, this is wrong. And there's people saying this is right. Go Bristol. Go Beechwood. And they're 100% entitled to their opinion. But when I heard to see those pictures of Southern local in a middle school setting, when there's a lot of the testosterone flowing, right, for those boys, for the first time, to wear EP Strong shirts in our gym, not only when they're playing them, but to go and support them, that's one of the coolest things I've seen in a long time. And yeah, that's my homer take on it, but damn it, that was cool. That was so cool. That's all I got. That's all I got for today. So we're going to wrap up the show a little bit early today. You're going to see a little bit so just to set the stage for you, kind of where I'm at. YSN will go on and continue to do the coverage that you're accustomed to, right? We will continue to do the games, do everything that you're accustomed to. I'm going to do this show as much as humanly possible. I've taken up a little bit of a different role for hopefully a limited amount of time. You're going to see me in different places and not always talking about sports. And I'm going to be honest, that's going to be a huge challenge for me. Something that I took seriously. The reason that it took almost 2 weeks for me to step into that limelight and make my feelings known. But it's become evident and clear to me that our town needs help with telling the right story, telling the true story, getting the right questions answered. And I got to be honest with you, this is an event session. I'm nervous, but I'm confident that if given the right opportunities, I'll show people what East Palestine is, who it means, and what it means to be from East Palestine. Not just a fly-by-night coming in and saying 6 months before this that we're the armpit of Columbiana County. I'm as East Palestine as it gets, and I'm looking forward to going toe-to-toe with whoever it takes to get what's right for the people of this town and to get this town back on its feet and thriving again. That's what I can promise you. If you thought it was cool watching YSN rise and continue to skyrocket to the top, wait till you see what this town can do. We're going to be the change. We're every town in America, and we are East Palestine strong. That's going to do it for the show. We'll see you next time, hopefully on Monday. Might have a special guest on Monday. Got to make sure that's all lined up. Don't want to spoil it before we get to it. God bless you. God bless East Palestine. God bless America. We'll see you sometime soon. Full slate of games tonight and tomorrow on YSN. Peace. YSN thanks you for watching this presentation of Your Sports Network. For stories, stats,